The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties.
Man, I got it my hand in my bag.
Buckeyes and trying to turn to the goal line. Puts the football over.
Cause man, I got it swag. Man, I got it swag. My
Hands to Gaffney. He stopped him.
You know I'm popping tags.
Bad snap. Bobble. Scooped up. Here come the Spartans. Down the sideline. Racing into the end zone.
He hits it! He hits it! He did it!
This is Sparta!
Well, welcome atop of the Graduate Hotel at the Rooftop Rock Bar. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, and my co-host, Jehuu Caulcrick, Choo Choo, and this is Sparta. We are here to break down this week's game against the Washington Huskies. We're going to preview it.
Are you one of those people that says Washington or Washington?
Washington.
Okay, good. You're a normal human being. You're not a serial killer.
Is that an FBI stat? Washington versus Washington? 100 versus 100?
100. 50 versus 50?
50. Thursday versus Thursday. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, the Spartans are traveling 2,300 miles to the West Coast. Mel Tucker takes his 2-0 team out there to face a 2-0 Washington Huskies team.
Yeah, you hit on that travel there. It's difficult, going from the west to the east to the west, but it's more difficult flying from the East Coast from the West Coast to the East Coast to play. So, but the Spartans are going to be, making that trip out there. It'll be a little easier for them, but still you have to put everything into account from, the acclimation of the elevation of where you are, the temperature, the time of the game. Washington Stadium's open right on the water. How is that wind going to play? Is it going to be a swirling wind? Is it going to be a straightforward wind? All those things have to come into play, especially when it's really key when you fly into the stadium that Friday, previously when you do a walkthrough in the stadium. If you're a quarterback, if you're a kicker, all those things, you find those different nooks and crooks about the opposing team stadium.
Kickers, you mean the people or the non-people?
Hey, whatever
I got
Instagram said.
So they're going to take that show on the road. Mel Tucker says that he's really working hand in hand with his strength staff, the conditioning staff, as well as the dietitians, all the people that are making sure that those players are in the right frame of mind, the right physical state. He's asking the guys to get an extra hour of sleep this week, too.
Yeah, it's Coach Tucker really does a good job about those outside of X's and O's things of the game. He brings in sleep specialists there. He has, on-staff nutritionists, the strength and conditioning coaches. Everything outside of X's and O's is going to be approached and it's going to be talked about. It's going to be hit on, and the Spartans will be ready for those things. From everything from even the temperature of the hotel room when the guys get in there will be worked on and looked at.
I remember.
So,
that's incredible. You remember a year ago going down to Miami, there was a great plan in place for hydration because of the extreme heat temperatures down there. Michigan State comes out on top in that ball game. So looking forward to what's happening with the Washington Huskies. Jehuu, give us a look into what they have been doing in their 2 wins so far this year.
Yeah, Washington, they've been impressive in their 2 wins so far. They have the Indiana transfer, Penix Jr. coming in, and Penix is familiar with the Spartans.
Beat the Spartans before.
He has beat the Spartans before, so he will be licking his chops for another opportunity to. Their offense, they're humming right now. They like to run the football, and at times you'll see them get in almost a double wing set offensively, a double wing formation, and run RPOs out of that because Penix can either pull it, throw it, or pull it and run it, or give it to the backs. They're averaging 48.5 points per game.
Wow.
They're firing on all cylinders right now. This is going to be a very good test for our defense.
Yeah, you think about that, 48.5 points, only giving up 13 to to opponents.
Yeah, the defense is giving up 13 points so far. The defense, they also like to swarm to the football defensively. You'll see them in a 43, walk a safety down at times, depending on the backfield set, or sometimes they'll walk that linebacker off the edge and bring him, and it'll be essentially a 4-2, similar to what Michigan State plays.
Wow. So what do you think Michigan State's plan of attack will be going out to Washington to face a team like the Washington Huskies from the defensive side of the ball?
From the defensive side of the ball, I don't think anything changes. It's going to be staying at home, playing defense, and reading your keys. The linebackers have to, especially with these RPOs, the linebackers, their keys, they have to be the guards. They have to read the guards through to the backfield. And I think that's what they're going to have to do. We're going to see a lot of aggressiveness with our secondary. Safeties coming down, corners coming up, speed. He's going to have another good game because of the type of offense that they run. Michigan State's secondary is going to be tested this game. With the loss of Snow and X, they're going to be tested with this game because Penix can throw the football around, and this line at times can give them time.
Are you thinking that because of the ability for Penix to use his legs, that there's going to be a spy type of player from Michigan State that's going to be watching him, keying on him?
You almost have to. You almost have to have someone, be it, like I said, a safety coming down, an extra guy in the box there to be that spy on him. But yeah, I think you almost have to put a spy on him.
I think this is where Michigan State is going to be tested because the loss of Snow. This is a position that's perfectly suited for his skill set, his experience level, and now you're going to have somebody else. Maybe it's, it could be Gross, a guy who can get in there that's a safety that has a lot of range and being able to stay home and have great eye control, which is very important for the secondary guys to be able to buzz down into the box and then pay attention to the quarterback who is elusive in his own right.
Exactly. You hit on that eye control, and that is that discipline. Don't take the cheese. You always got to be, ready and disciplined. But I think this is a game, if I'm on the Michigan State coaching staff, I'm excited about this game because you really get to have fun with your guys that you have. You have a lot of talent on that team. You can rotate guys. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of rotation on the defensive line for the Spartans on Saturday. You get an opportunity to do different things schematically with the defense. And, if we want to go to the offensive side, Jason, I'm predicting that the Michigan State's offense is going to come out and it's going to be a fireworks show. On Saturday. We're going to see a lot of explosive plays, a lot of big plays. We're going to open up the playbook. The past 2 weeks, we didn't need to open up the playbook. Last week, we came in with the mindset of we're going to establish the run game. Now we established the run game. Now they're going to say, let Thorne eat. We're going to see a lot of action. Our tight ends are going to get involved. Our receivers are going to get involved. You're going to see some reverses. You're going to see some flea flicker. The flea flicker might come out this week.
It might come out?
It might come out this week on the road. The flea flicker might come out. I think Michigan State's offense is going to put on a show offensively.
People have been saying that Jay Johnson has been calling a pretty conservative ball game the last 2 weeks. Now, that's an interesting take from Jehuu Nostradamus Caulcrick here, who was right a week ago when he said Michigan State was going to hang a 40-piece, extra crispy. Let's go back to that tape.
We're going to come in with that work mindset, that work mentality, that blue-collar mentality, and we're going to take care of business. We're not going to worry about, who they are, what they are, and we're going to hang a 40-piece on them, crispy, too.
Crispy? Spicy?
I was about to say spicy.
Yeah, throw a little spice on that.
Yeah. There it is, extra crispy, right? 40 points. So now you said Michigan State's now going to open up the playbook as if they haven't already, coming off a 52-point victory against the Akron Zips.
Yeah, they're going to open up the playbook offensively. The defense are going to have a lot of fun doing some different things with the schemes. But something that's overshadowed, and it's overshadowed all the time, special teams. Special teams is going to play a key role in this game. Whoever has the best special teams, they're the ones that are going to be in the best position to have that advantage.
But I think this is contradictory to what you've always said, that kickers aren't people.
I'm not talking about kickers. I'm talking about your punter. I'm talking about your long snapper.
Okay, the punter is different than the kicker.
The kicker is different than the punter.
Punter is a defensive player.
I like punters. A punter is probably one of the best players on the defense.
Yeah, he's a
You
weapon.
know, yeah, especially with our punter.
Yeah,
the ability to change
Behringer.
field like that. So, yeah, special teams is going to be a key part of guys flying down the field, making plays. I expect to see a turnover or two on special teams.
A turnover or two.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be an exciting ball game for Spartans traveling 2,300 miles west to see the Spartans in Seattle playing out there in the Pacific Northwest. Seagulls flying, wind swirling, lots of salmon and seafood for everybody, for Spartan Nation, huh? So it's going to be an exciting ball game, it sounds like, if you say special teams. Will it come down to a kick? Because right now, this is what I think will be a big difference for Michigan State, because they opened up as a favorite. I think it was Saturday morning or Friday night, and then Saturday night, by Sunday afternoon, Washington's favored by 3.5 points and climbing.
Yeah, you know, Vegas, if you're into that kind of thing, the Spartans are not the favorites, but, you know, hey, you know, that's an interesting little thing. If you're into that kind of thing.
It's always extra motivation.
Yeah.
Even for the players that aren't into that kind of thing, they just look at that as like people like them more.
Yeah,
right?
it's an insult. You know, you're a Big Ten team. You know, you played two solid games, and now you're going on the road. Yes, I see. You know, that 3 points. You know, for just being away from home. But you know, it's tricky. You know, it's tricky. You know, going out west. But if the Spartans can go out there with the focus that I know that they can go with, forget the sailgating, forget the alumni tailgates, the bands, the Husky dogs, you know, the atmosphere there, and just focus on what's happening between the lines, Spartans should have no problem.
Will we see Peyton Thorne come back to form that we know that he can be?
I think Thorne's going to come back to form. I think he's going to do some I think he's going to go back into the archives to see what was working for him and just go back to basics. He's going to go back to basics, and he now knows he does not have to do too much. He has good running backs. He has a good offensive line, and he can just play his game now and let these receivers eat. One thing quarterbacks always have to remember, you know, you eat an apple one bite at a time. You don't swallow the whole thing, and you never go broke taking a profit. Take the check downs and let those guys do the rest for you.
Yeah, check down. You talk about a guy by the name of Jaden Reed, check down specialist, a guy who all you need to do is get him the ball. I don't care if it's a jet sweep or a shallow crossing route. He'll take it the distance with his ability. And also in the return game, to your point, the kicking game will be important on the road to take that crowd out of the ball game. And we expect Michigan State to travel well.
Yeah, Spartans are going to travel well. It's you know, from talking to people, they're excited about this. You know, if you're a casual viewer that picked one game a year to go to on the road, this is the game that a lot of people are circling to go to. So Spartan Nation is going to be represented really well in Seattle this weekend.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun matchup at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Michigan State on the road facing the Washington Huskies. Night game. It's not going to be so much night game out there. 4:30 p.m. out there, so it may have a little sunlight.
Dusk.
A little dusk, and the sun will set on that stadium.
On the Spartan victory.
That's right. We're looking forward to it for next week. And as we said, it's here at the Graduate Hotel, sitting atop here at the Rock Top Rooftop Bar. Jehuu Caulcrick is signing off with me, Jason Strayhorn, for This is Sparta. Have a good night. God bless. And go green.
Go white.
Yeah, purple bottoms, yeah, I'm smoking.